French Guiana. South America, December 25, 2021 at the Guiana Space Center. NASA launches the James Webb Space Telescope, which is 100 times more powerful than any telescope that's come before. It represents an ambitious $10 billion effort by NASA to see into the deepest parts of the universe. Too many. This highly sophisticated device will finally enable scientists to answer an age-old question. Are we alone in the universe? The James Webb Telescope is our latest and greatest space telescope, which has two basic missions. One is to understand how stars and galaxies began, and its other mission is to understand whether there's life out there. The James Webb Telescope has the ability to detect chemical signatures. Athletics suggests that life is, in fact, present in those worlds. We can now look into space with more clarity than in all of our previous human history. And with the new James Webb Telescope, scientists are looking for extraterrestrial intelligence, not just extraterrestrial. Biology. The fact that we are investigating is something very exciting, because the search for extraterrestrial intelligence is the ultimate quest of humanity to find out how did it all begin. With the launch of the James Webb Space Telescope, astronomers are now able to examine thousands of planets outside our own solar system, often referred to as exoplanets, and they are discovering more and more that are located within the so-called Goldilocks zone. There's something called the Goldilocks zone, where everything is just right. You're just right from the sun in terms of distance, in terms of heat, in terms of ecology, and that's where to find life. Now we're discovering many tins of planets that seem to be in the Goldilocks zone, where it can have water, an atmosphere that's warm enough for life. We now realize there could be hundreds, thousands of twins of the Earth in outer space. This is big news, 'cause it may mean that life could be much more readily abundant in our galaxy than we previously thought. These new discoveries by the Webb telescope are pretty amazing. They're finding these exoplanets that can hold life. And now, the search for extraterrestrials is on like steroids. We've got NASA involved in it. We've got Chinese and Japanese scientists who are looking at this. We have a wide array of international players who are searching for extraterrestrials. As far as ancient astronaut theorists are concerned, our willingness to devote so much time, energy, and resources towards the search for extraterrestrial intelligence is firmly rooted in the distant past. Since the very beginning of human civilization, we have been looking for signs of extraterrestrial intelligence. You go back to the most ancient civilizations: the Sumerians, the Babylonians, Egyptians, the Mayans. They all tracked the stars, they tracked the planets. They built incredible monuments, like the pyramids, that were in alignment with various star systems. You have multiple ancient, megalithic structures that are in the form of constellations, mainly Sirius, Orion, and Pleiades. Why those three? Well, we are suggesting that that is where the extraterrestrials, who taught us a long time ago, came from. Could it be that our earliest ancestors had encounters with otherworldly beings, and did they align their most important structures with the stars because they hoped this would be noticed by the extraterrestrials who had visited Earth? Ancient astronaut theorists suggest that support for this notion can be found by examining the theories of a prominent 19th century German scientist named Carl Friedrich Gauss. In 1820, Carl Friedrich Gauss was on the cutting edge of our science and technology. He's a mathematician and a physicist. But he has one question: can we communicate with extraterrestrials? He thought it was entirely possible. Gauss proposed an incredible idea. He said we need to go out into the Siberian tundra and create a giant Pythagorean triangle that would be so big it could be seen from the moon, and an extraterrestrial civilization would see it and know that we are mathematically advanced and make contact with us. While most scientists regarded Gauss's idea as fanciful, ancient astronaut theorists suggest there is evidence that our ancestors used this exact method to try to communicate with other worldly beings. In the 1930s, more than a century after Gauss proposed his theory, pilots flying over southern Peru reported seeing enormous shapes carved into the earth. The Nazca lines. The NASA lines are the animals. The hummingbird, the monkey. All these different things from the animal kingdom. And straight lines, some of which go up to 15 miles. The NASA lines clearly were created by humans to signal somebody up there, not on the ground. Why? Well, according to the ancient astronaut theory, the local population was visited by extraterrestrials, but at some point they left. And so the local population wanted them to come back. And that is why the NASA lines were created, on a bigger scale. The Nazca lines are a giant signal to someone up in the sky. Is it possible that ancient people created the Nazca lines to attract the attention of intelligent beings, like Gauss proposed in 1820? Today scientists believe that we will soon have the technology to see surface features on distant planets ourselves, and the James Webb Telescope is already allowing astronomers to observe the universe in greater detail than ever before. Our current technology isn't such that we can truly image Earth-sized planets around other stars, but we can look at what elements and what chemical compounds are in that planet's atmosphere. The James Webb Telescope has found multiple different exoplanets that have markers of life, that have markers of carbon. We see that some of these exoplanets have water in them, and water is a major marker for life. So it's exciting to see what the James Webb Telescope is doing, and what else it will find. Could it be that, in searching for extraterrestrial intelligence, we are carrying on the work of our earliest ancestors, as ancient astronaut theorists suggest, and make new technology, like the James Webb Space Telescope, help us to finally succeed in achieving this goal? Many experts believe it will, and suggest there is evidence that Earth has already received communication from an alien race. Colorado Springs, July 1899. Famed scientist and inventor Nikola Tesla is conducting radio experiments at his laboratory when he receives an unusual, repeating transmission from an unknown source. Nikola Tesla believed that extraterrestrial communication was possible, and this signal was exactly the type of signal he would have expected to have seen from an extraterrestrial civilization if they were trying to make contact. And Tesla himself believed he had received radio signals from Mars, more than 5,000 miles away. Italian radio pioneer Guglielmo Marconi observed similar, seemingly extraterrestrial transmissions. Marconi was the first to really broadcast radio across long distances, and he, of course, was also listening, and he also thought that he might have heard some radio signals from the planet Mars. Nikola Tesla and Marconi were on the cutting edge of this new frontier of discovery, believing in their hearts and their minds that radio waves would lead to our connection with an extraterrestrial civilization. Is it possible that the mysterious transmissions detected by both Nikola Tesla and Guglielmo Marconi came from an extraterrestrial intelligence? While the answer will likely never be known, the observations of these early radio pioneers had a major impact on humanity's search for alien life. Marconi and Tesla kind of caught the ball rolling when it comes to trying to find the aliens by eavesdropping on radio signals. And it turns out, radio waves would be a great way to communicate over very long distances, from one star system to another. They're better even than ordinary light, because they're dusty dark clouds in the universe, and they can block the light. So the point about radio waves is that they would go right through the dust and gas that hangs between the stars. Tesla and Marconi may not have found definitive evidence of alien intelligence, but they were foundational in establishing the primary means by which scientists search for extraterrestrial civilizations today. This effort is led by the SETI Institute. Established in 1984, SETI is the search for extraterrestrial intelligence. And a lot of it has been done by the SETI Institute. Based in California, it is primarily the use of radio telescopes to listen for a signal from another civilization. The SETI Institute, its flagship program is to use big antennas, point them in the direction of other nearby star systems and tune over the radio dial to see if there's any transmission coming from those planets. The thinking is that we have been a detectable civilization for years through our television and radio broadcasts, and almost any conceivable advanced civilization will be using that technology, or will have used it in the past. Maybe they've gone on to more advanced things now, but that will be detectable, and people look for a beacon, maybe to just draw our attention to the fact that there's life out there, but also a message, maybe the scientific and technical knowledge encoded in a signal being sent to us. Well, if we don't listen, we'll never get it. The work of the SETI Institute is so important for the fact that they are a pioneer. They are pioneer in the world of academia, in the world of science, and have pushed the boundaries, I would say, in the understanding and the acceptance of looking into extraterrestrials. But not all scientists were content to merely listen for alien communication. A decade before the establishment of the SETI Institute, one of its founders, famed astronomer Carl Sagan, was part of an effort to send a message out into the cosmos. Arecibo Observatory, Puerto Rico, November 16, 1974. Scientists, dignitaries, and other public officials gathered to watch as astronomers send out the first official radio communication directed to extraterrestrials using the largest, most powerful telescope in the world. The message was just a series of dots and dashes, if you will, but you could order them into a matrix and actually get a picture. There's a way of sending up reading card, if you will, from Earth, designed by renowned scientists like Carl Sagan and Frank Drake. The Arecibo message contains binary encoded information, including the numbers 1 through 10, an image of human DNA, a human figure, and a graphic of the solar system, highlighting the position of Earth. This was a calling card from planet Earth. It was really reaching out across the galaxy and saying, "We're here." Now some scientists condemned it, and in fact SETI has been very controversial when it moves into active, what's called MATI, messaging to extraterrestrial intelligence. Some people have said, it's like a suicide note to the universe, because if there's a super predator species out there, you are saying come and get us now. SETI scientists say, well, it's too late. We've been a detainable civilization for decades because of our radio and television broadcasts. But it's still controversial. In August 2001, almost 3 decades after the Arecibo message was sent, there was an extraordinary development. Workers at the Cheo Bolton Observatory in Hampshire, England, discovered a mysterious crop circle in a nearby field. That was an almost exact replica of the Arecibo message. It's actually called sometimes the Arecibo reply, because it's essentially very similar to the Arecibo message, but with some subtle changes. For example, the DNA swaps out carbon for silicon, and also there's a representation of a figure. But it's not a human, looks like an alien. Instantly the astronomers proclaimed this a hoax. And as people started to investigate this, they realized that maybe it was possible that it came from extraterrestrials. One reason why was that the message was so perfect. How likely is it that some crop circle hoaxer could have duplicated that message in a crop circle? Crop circles are a very important potential way that an extraterrestrial intelligence could use to communicate with us. They're very public, and they have caught the curiosity of humanity. Why is the so-called Arecibo reply a message sent to Earth by an extraterrestrial civilization? While its origin continues to be debated, some scientists suggest that the best evidence of intelligent life can be found by simply looking deep into space for what aliens may have built in the stars. Western Australia, July 2, 2023, at the Mergers and Radio Astronomy Observatory, one of the world's most powerful telescopes, the Texas signal that catches the attention of scientists from multiple institutions. They discover interstellar radio waves that are reaching Earth every 22 minutes. Even stranger, the signals have been sent like clockwork. For more than 30 years, astronomers in Australia made an amazing discovery: a timed pulse. A radio wave pulse that went completely undetected. This was a milestone, a benchmark in our search for extraterrestrial intelligence. The thought is it turns on and off every 20 minutes. A little too regular to be due to nature. And when you find something unexpected, of course you're excited. Now, normally when you see a repeating signal like that, you think of either a pulsar, which is a rotating star that's sending out a radio burst on a regular schedule, or a magnetar, which is a similar kind of star that has a very intense magnetic field that's rotating. And so, you get spikes of a signal from that magnetic field. The problem is, this signal doesn't match either of those. We don't know what the signal is, but we do know that it seems interesting, and possibly artificial, which means it was broadcast by someone. We may find there's a natural phenomena that explains it, we may not. Some people have speculated that this could mean that extraterrestrials have been signaling to us for a very long time now. There's still a lot that we don't know about this, but there's something very odd about it. This is the kind of thing that we've been searching for. For decades, it's tremendously important. This discovery. Is it possible that the strange radio pulses detected in 2023 are signals being sent out by alien lifeforms? Perhaps further clues can be found by examining another discovery that some scientists believe is evidence of an extraterrestrial civilization. Louisiana State University, 2016. Astronomer Tabitha Bayanjian publishes a paper in the monthly Notices of the Royal Astronomical Society that captures the attention of the scientific world. Using data gathered by NASA's Kepler Space Telescope, Voyancia documented strange behavior in a distant star. The Kepler telescope was searching for exoplanets by waiting for them to cross in front of their star and block a little bit of light. Well, she found a star where the amount of light that was blocked kept changing, was much more light than a planet could block. So Tabby's star was kind of a surprising discovery at the time. Tabby's star suddenly diminished in terms of his intensity by quite a bit, and then flared up again. And he's been doing this for years. What could cause that? What is big enough to diminish starlight by that much? It must be huge. The bizarre dimming LED some astronomers to consider a profound possibility that the dimming was caused by an extraterrestrial megastructure known as a Dyson sphere. This hypothetical technology was first proposed by Princeton physicist Freeman Dyson in a 1960 Science magazine article. One of the Manhattan Project scientists, Freeman Dyson, had the idea that a really advanced civilization could build a sphere around their star at about an Earth orbit distance from that star, and it could capture all of the energy from that star on the surface of this sphere. This idea that advanced societies will build stuff that they put into orbit around the star, their sun, that makes perfect sense. And a lot of reasons why you might want to do that. Maybe just collecting solar energy. I mean, who knows? But if they built anything like that, then we would see a star that gets dimmer. Then it gets brighter and gets dimmer. Is it possible that Tabitha Voyangia discovered an enormous alien spacecraft? One so big it could block out the light of a star. It's an idea that seems ripped from the pages of science fiction. But not only do NASA scientists believe such structures could exist, they are actively searching for them. The effort that I lead at SETI is a search for what we call alien megastructures. These are large, panel-like objects that may have been put in orbit around other stars by civilizations well beyond Earth. It would immediately indicate to us that there are beings out there in the universe that are more advanced than us. Alien megastructures should not be that hard to find. I mean, if they're out there, they're various telltale signs that a big enough telescope, especially a space telescope, should be able to spot if we have an idea what we're looking for. The problem is going through hundreds and thousands of hours of data. So and Marie Cody started a project specifically targeting alien megastructures with artificial intelligence AI. The fact that Dr. Cody is getting funding to investigate this is unheard of. And the fact that it is happening means that a paradigm shift has happened. We need to know who is out there, possibly so that we can learn more about ourselves and what sort of course humanity is going to take. Right now, we are dealing with unprecedented problems on Earth. If we found beings out there that were more intelligent than us, they may offer useful information. If we were ever to learn from them, might strange radio pulses and the mysterious dimming of stars be evidence that we are not alone in the universe. According to some scientists, the best evidence of alien technology can be found closer to home, right here on Earth. Ever since the first radio telescope was invented in the 1930s, astronomers have listened to the heavens for signals from extraterrestrial beings. But in 2021, Harvard professor Bobby Lowe breaks with tradition and sets out to find alien life, not by scanning for radio waves, but by looking for physical evidence. He calls it the Galileo Project. Professor Loeb says, why not monitor videos and things in outer space? Perhaps one of them is remnants of an advanced civilization. For example, if an advanced civilization is like us, they would leave Coke bottles everywhere. And why not search for them? The previous paradigm was sit, wait. Open your telescope. Open your computer and cross your fingers. That's the way science is usually done in astronomy. Now he's saying, why not reach out? All we need to do is search around, and we might find objects that were sent by civilizations. Those civilizations, they could have launched probes to interstellar space that would have populated the entire Milky Way galaxy by now. And the only question is, do we live in such a reality? According to Dr. Lowe, if alien civilizations do exist, their spacecraft might appear to us as something as simple as a meteor. The Galileo Project involves the idea that alien probes may have visited our solar system and possibly crashed on the Earth's surface or the oceans in the past. If extraterrestrial craft have landed on Earth, is it possible that the Galileo Project could find them? While the idea of a Harvard scientist searching for a crashed UFO struck many in the scientific community as laughable, in 2023 Dr. Lowe shocked the world when he announced he found one. June 2023, 100 miles north of Papua New Guinea, Dr. Lowe and members of the Galileo Project are combing the Pacific Ocean in search of a meteor that exploded over the region. 10 years earlier, I came across a meteor catalog that the government compiled using its missile warning system. The meteor burned up about 100 miles off the coast of Purple Lamborghini, and it released a few percent of the energy of the Hiroshima bar when it exploded. The government released data of the explosion, and from that, we infer that the object has material strength. That is very unusual. It's made of some alloy that is much tougher than iron, meteorites, and that raises the possibility that it may have been a spacecraft. For 2 weeks, Dr. Loeb and a team of scientists drag a large magnetic sled along the ocean floor, and then they make what could be an extraordinary find. Loeb did find a number of beads, little spherules not much bigger than a baby, that they were able to dredge up. Upon first glance, they look kind of exotic. They have little swirls in them. They're almost perfectly round. The spheres are sub-millimeter size. When they get back to the lab and they put these spheres underneath the microscope, they describe them as beautiful metallic marbles. This suggests in a preliminary way that we're dealing with perhaps an extraterrestrial technology. Something that was not made by nature. Just finding little metal beads isn't proof that they're ball bearings for an alien spaceship or something. But they could be, and that's the exciting part. You can't prove it yet, but you can't disprove it either. Initial testing showed that some of the spirals had an unusually high concentration of beryllium, lanthanum, and uranium in a composition that is unlike anything found in our solar system. That composition does not exist in any known mineral or rock that we know of, which would imply something about the conditions under which it was formed, the temperatures, the pressures. And when you combine that with a spheroidal shape, it does speak to his hypothesis that they're manufactured extra trash. Really? Could the strange burials found on the ocean floor really be of alien origin? While more tests are underway, Dr. Lope continues to recruit experts to the Galileo project, like renowned UFO researcher Jacques Vallée, retired intelligence officer Christopher Mellon, and former British Ministry of Defense UFO investigator Nick Pope. No, I'm not a scientist, but I'm one of a number of people who are involved and actually part of Galileo project as a research affiliate, so people like myself with government backgrounds who can perhaps help the science team with this. We've come on board, and then it's fascinating work. And think about this Harvard alien hunter. This represents an enormous step forward in humanity's quest for extraterrestrial intelligence. Because we're seeing signs and signposts of academic acceptance of the reality that we are not alone. Just the fact that Harvard University has the Galileo project. This shows that we're in a brand new era, where prestigious universities and scientists associate with them are trying to find extraterrestrial life. Will the Galileo project find irrefutable proof that we are not alone in the universe? Only time will tell. But while researchers like Avi Loeb are making great strides in the search for extraterrestrial intelligence, some believe even more exciting evidence is being discovered by NASA scientists, who recently found strong indications of a planet inhabited by alien beings. Pullman, Washington, October 2020. A team of astrobiologists at Washington State University completed analysis of more than 4,500 exoplanets. After combing through the data, they are surprised to find 24 planets that fit the classification of superhabitable. Very recently, we've discovered many planets that might be better for life than Earth is. Earth is still in an ice age right now. We have polar caps on both sides of the planet, so these planets might be even more habitable or better for life to spring up on than here on Earth. For the most part, they're larger than Earth. They tend to be older. The longer you give life to evolve, the more likely you're gonna see advanced life forms there. The first exoplanets were discovered in the 1990s, and since then scientists have been astounded by the number of potentially habitable planets they have found throughout the universe. Before 1995, we didn't know whether there were other planets out there. Today, we know that the majority of stars have planets orbiting them, and 1 in 10 of those who have a planet that's at the right distance from that star, so that the temperatures are agreeable for life, and there might be liquid water on the surface, and that sort of thing. So, what we're finding is that the Earth may not be unique, that there are other planets that also have things like atmospheres and oceans. And if you're looking for ET, well, it's good to find that there are other locales that might at least have life. It's only recently, with the launch of the James Webb Telescope, that scientists have been able to study nearby planets for signs of life. The James Webb Telescope is now powerful enough to pick out some of those planets and actually measure their atmospheric composition. And then we'll be a step closer to actually knowing whether there's life out there. The James Webb Telescope has the ability to appear into the infrared level, where it can detect heat signatures and also chemicals on exoplanets that previously have gone undetected. Early results are astonishing. It's already made major discoveries on 2 planets that are suggestive that life might actually be present on these planets. The Webb allows you to see things that tell you whether or not there might be life there, and more excitingly, might tell you that there's been technology there. When you start seeing radioactive isotopes, now you've got a better idea that there might be technology. It's probably higher technology, and that's what we're looking for. In September 2023, scientists found what many consider to be the best evidence yet that life is not unique to planet Earth. In the atmosphere of a planet 124 light-years from Earth, called K2-18b, the James Webb Telescope detected the presence of a molecule called dimethyl sulfide. Dimethyl sulfide is created through organic processes, only as far as we know, meaning some living creature during its life cycle secretes or excretes this material. The very fact that that chemical is there indicates is a high probability that a life form was responsible for creating it. In other words, this could be the first sign of life in outer space. Is it possible that NASA has finally discovered life on an alien planet while scientists need more evidence before they can be certain? The presence of dimethyl sulfide suggests this is a strong possibility. If proven true, the next question is, are these life forms intelligent? Could it be that planet K2-18b is home to an extraterrestrial civilization? The fact that they've discovered DMS on a planet out there, and if this can be corroborated, well, there you go. And now the next step will be we now know ET exists. And number 2 will be not only are we now alone, but they've been here. We are right on the edge with our modern-day technology that we might find life on another planet. In the next few years we might even find civilizations that have sprung up on these planets. In the next few years we're that close. Our technology is there. Could advances in human technology, like the James Webb Space Telescope, be the key to finally discovering life? And maybe even intelligent life beyond Earth? Some scientists predict our search will end with direct contact from advanced alien civilizations, not at some distant point in the future, but any day now. January 2020, 3 astronomers at the University of Toronto announced that they are using artificial intelligence to search for evidence of extraterrestrial technology from 820 nearby stars, and have detected some highly intriguing signals. Astronomers have used a machine learning algorithm to sit through 480 hours of tapes, and they found 8 signals that they believe potentially could be a techno signature, a signal suggesting an advanced extraterrestrial civilization might even be inhabiting these planets. While more research needs to be conducted to determine exactly what is producing these mysterious signals, many experts believe the use of AI will astronomically accelerate the search for extraterrestrial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is playing an increasingly important role in the search for extraterrestrial technology and intelligence, simply because there is so much data coming through astronomers' telescopes nowadays that we need help with our needle in the haystack searches to find the most unusually behaving stars and signals embedded in that starlight. What AI is particularly good at is, it's really good at recognizing patterns. And patterns are really what we're looking for in city. So we won't find patterns that we don't think nature would produce, feeding all the radio signals that we received from the stars into the right AI system would help enormously in identifying patterns that humans might not find. While scientists are excited by the prospect of humankind's first encounter with an advanced alien civilization in the near future. Ancient astronaut theorists view this possibility through a different lens to them. Such an event would not be first contact but a reunion. Does official contact mean a signal that has been received through city? Or will it be, a validation of the ancient astronaut theory that, hey, not only are we not alone in the universe, but they've visited in the past and they've been here. In my opinion, the ETS are here. They're observing us. And study is one way with which to prepare the masses. It may be, at the moment, that civilizations are aware of us, visiting us but don't make open contact. But all that secrecy will end the day we find out about them. The day we find out about them. Because the cat will be out of the bag. And we'll have open first contact. Up close and personal interaction between extraterrestrials and humanity. And that will tell us something interesting about the extraterrestrials, but it may also tell us something rather interesting about ourselves. It's very likely that we're right at that edge of the next era for humanity, when we realize we're not alone in the universe. Extraterrestrials make contact with us. That's gonna change humanity more than you can imagine. We need protocols in place. We need to begin to prepare human civilization for this reality, and the transformation that will resolve once contact is established. I think planet Earth will be ready for it, and we will hopefully rejoice in the fact that we are in contact with extraterrestrials, and that we are not alone in the universe. Now that the search for extraterrestrial intelligence has been taken up by top scientists and academics all over the world, are we on the verge of making contact with an alien race? Could powerful new technologies detect life and even civilizations on other planets? Or might we even uncover an otherworldly presence right here on Earth? Perhaps one day soon we will learn the truth that we have been seeking since the beginning of humankind. We are not alone.